So there's two main models of monetization marketplaces. On the one hand, subscriptions, which provide recurring, predictable revenue, but often don't capture the upside that you're seeing in transactions. The other piece is obviously transactional monetization, where you're able to capture the upside, become very lumpy, very seasonal, very cyclical, and often you have to start with one or the other. But the best monetization models at scale are those that have some blend of the two. They provide stable, predictable revenue. At the same time, they're able to capture the upside. And that can be hard to do, but it's very specific on this particular variances and differences of the both sides. So there's no golden rule, but over time, a combination of the two.
I mean, we all want basically, I would say, the predictability and reliability of subscription revenue, so from the SaaS side of things, but we at the same time maybe want the upside and the market size and the potential of transaction-based revenue, so take rate of the revenue. So I think anything that you can mix between the two is usually great. Just give an example, we for example have Coach Hub. We consider it a marketplace because you have coaches on one side, companies and their employees on the other side, and they sell it as a subscription to the companies who are paying for it for their employees. So you could say that this is an enterprise SaaS sale, but it has the defensibility and network effects from a marketplace, and that makes it a very powerful maybe enterprise SaaS business, so to say. And I think when you can combine those two, the predictability and reliability of software revenues and the defensibility of marketplaces that come through network effects, then you can create a very powerful and valuable business.
If you can monetize on the transaction, you're essentially growing with your suppliers or your customers, right? So what's amazing is if you see these businesses that actually through a platform can grow their business. And as a result, you want to be mutually incentivized for them to do so. So if I think about Motorway, which is a portfolio company of ours, you can see how dealers can actually grow their business through Motorway, that they're managing to acquire better cars and therefore sell on those cars for a higher margin. Similarly, delivery is a great example. You see how it meaningfully grows restaurants' business in a way that they would otherwise be unable to do. So you want to be monetizing on the transaction a lot of times in order to be able to benefit from that. And then obviously there are other pieces, so vertical SaaS and adding on layers of the product that then you can charge a subscription fee on is also a great way of sort of driving higher stickiness and a different type of revenue profile to the business.
I don't, because there's so many, but I think we've seen not just the traditional way, taking a take rate. I think that, of course, as an history, has a lot of practicalities of what is working, but we've seen so much more happening beyond that. That can be through additional services related with shipping, logistics, or related with payments, and related with financing associated with it, or related with insurance, because at the end of the day, if you're trading something, there's credit insurance needs. So either take rate on one side or additional service on the others. I don't have a preference. I think the beauty is when you see multiple avenues working together and actually working not just in bringing home more money, but delivering more value to the buyers and seller on the platform that thanks to those services are transacting more. I think this is very powerful when you see that.
I'm going to talk more about B2B marketplaces because we are now at TimberHub, we are a B2B marketplace. This is a discussion that we have a lot with my co-founders because they are accusing me that I have the Uber mentality sometimes of burning money. But no, I think that the most important thing for me and the model that I like is the vertical marketplaces. When you control the transaction, you offer a magical experience and you try to improve the processes because through that way you get into the real problems of the business. In the B2B world, discovery is like a small percentage of the transaction. You find the supplier, but what's going after that? How you're going to pay them? Do you trust them? Do they trust you? How you're going to do logistics? Are you going to call the carrier? Who is going to be the cheapest carrier? What are the nice routes? And then all the stuff that are coming after the agreement are the most difficult pieces in a B2B marketplace. And the marketplaces that control this transaction end to end might be more difficult, a little bit less scalable, probably more expensive, but for sure you can add value because if you fix that experience, then both buyers and sellers are going to be sticky to your service. So this is my favorite model.
I do think that the best for both buyers and sellers is the transaction fee. So a small percentage over the transaction. And when it comes to C2C, I think a buyer fee is best. And if it's a B2C, then for sure a seller fee. And it's also because this way the content remains a little bit clean, and you don't have a lot of blurred content as a user, because I think if you look at the older incumbents in classifieds, you see that the sorting order, it's so much pushed content, like the paid content, and as a user you don't want to necessarily see that. So therefore I think this business model is preferred.